After the new empire crushed it at the box office, it became crystal clear the MonsterVerse isn't just some fun experiment anymore. It's now a fully formed cinematic universe with a solid fan base and real commercial power behind it. And the new empire? That wasn't the end. It was the beginning of something much bigger. This movie wasn't a finale, it was a launch pad. And the producers have been pretty vocal about that. It's just the start of what they're building next. One of the key people confirming this direction is producer Mary Parent. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, she spoke openly about the franchise's future and how excited the team is to keep growing the MonsterVerse. Yeah, she admitted these kinds of blockbusters don't come cheap, but she also pointed out that the bigger the movie, the more people show up. And in Hollywood, that's what matters. If it makes money, it's worth continuing. What's really interesting is how the studio's strategy shifted after Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Despite its epic scale and deep dive into Titan lore, the movie didn't deliver financially. That made the studio seriously reconsider. Should they keep building a shared universe or pivot back to solo monster films? But then Godzilla vs. Kong dropped in 2021 and proved everyone wrong. It killed at the box office. And so did the new empire. That success basically locked in the studio's new game plan. Crossover films are the way forward. They've become the backbone of the MonsterVerse. But that doesn't mean we're in for a never-ending parade of kaiju slugfests. The producers and directors know fans want more, stronger stories, better character arcs, and real stakes. Godzilla takes the lead again. Director Adam Wingard, who helmed the new empire, has said in interviews with IGN and others that the plan is to shift some of the spotlight back to Godzilla. The last couple of films definitely leaned more toward Kong. He basically became the lead character, with a full-blown emotional arc and even a touch of human-style drama. Even with all his legacy and massive global fan base, Godzilla has kind of taken a back seat lately. Even the Apple series Monarch, which helped expand the lore, didn't fully fix that imbalance. Fans noticed, and now it looks like the studio is ready to bring him back, front and center, with a new solo project focused entirely on the king of the monsters himself. It's not officially confirmed yet, but there's a strong chance this solo film will come after the next crossover, Godzilla x Kong, Supernova. That one's being directed by Grant Sputor, best known for the sci-fi drama I Am Mother. His hiring suggests Legendary is looking to bring in some fresh perspective, maybe even a darker, more thoughtful tone. And if everything goes according to plan, we could be entering the most exciting phase of the MonsterVerse yet, with solo films, big crossovers, and possibly the introduction of brand new titans. Space Godzilla, the next villain? According to recent reports and leaks, the third GXK is set to be just as epic in scale, but with a more grounded tone. Even though it'll feature massive battles and global stakes, the studio apparently wants to recapture the mood of the first Gareth Edwards Godzilla. Darker, more atmospheric, and rooted in that primal fear of nature as an unstoppable force. Basically, they're bringing it back to what started this whole universe in the first place. And here's the wild part. Even though the rumored villain is Space Godzilla, insiders say the overall vibe of the film is way closer to the gritty realism of the first movie than the colorful, almost cartoonish fantasy of the new empire. The studio's clearly trying to strike a better balance this time. Scale without losing emotional weight. Because that was the big issue with the last film. Despite all the spectacle, a lot of scenes felt flat or just straight up illogical, leaning way too hard into comic book chaos instead of staying grounded. Supernova is officially set to hit theaters on March 26th, 2027, and right now, it looks like it'll be the only major MonsterVerse release that year. Where does the MonsterVerse go after that? The move into space isn't just about raising the stakes. It actually makes perfect sense if you look at where this universe is headed. Godzilla has clashed with off-world threats before, and Toho's monster roster is packed with space-level enemies just waiting to be unleashed. If the rumors and franchise trajectory are anything to go by, it looks like Godzilla will be stepping back into the spotlight as the centerpiece of the next phase, and some of his most legendary enemies could finally get their time to shine. Space Godzilla, a mutated clone of Godzilla fused with space crystals. Rumored to be the main villain of Supernova, he could bring a whole new level of destruction. Gigan, a cybernetic killing machine with one of the most iconic designs in kaiju history. Brutal, fast, and a fan favorite. Destroyah, one of the deadliest monsters Godzilla has ever faced, born from the oxygen destroyer. Pure chaos. Biollante, a plant-based Godzilla hybrid, could introduce dark biotech horror vibes. Destroy all monsters, new title teased. In 2023, Legendary quietly filed a trademark for Destroy All Monsters, which longtime fans will recognize as the title of one of Toho's most iconic crossovers. In the original, Godzilla and other kaiju team up to fight an alien threat. So if Supernova sets up the cosmic angle, this could be the next massive ensemble event, with every major titan thrown into the mix. Director Adam Wingard shared a cool behind-the-scenes detail. Scar King and Shermu were always meant to be villainous reflections of our two leads, Scar King as the anti-Kong and Shermu as the anti-Godzilla. In fact, Shermu wasn't originally meant to be redeemed. Early drafts painted her as a much more dangerous and mysterious character. One scrapped ending had her reaching out to ancient creatures buried in the deepest levels of Hollow Earth. Monsters that looked like twisted, shadowy versions of Godzilla. She would have become a kind of dark queen of the Titans. That idea might resurface in Supernova or the next Godzilla solo movie, especially now that the franchise is leaning into cosmic horror and untapped depths both underground and out in space. More Titans are coming. Legendary is clearly building their own version of a kaiju mythology, with brand new characters, fresh stories, and bold creative risks. Monsters like Scar King and Shermu aren't redesigns. They're 100% original, created from scratch. Sure, some think it's a legal issue. Legendary may only have rights to Godzilla and Kong, but it might also be a creative choice. By inventing new monsters, they're not tied to legacy canon. They're free to take the story in any direction. Even if Supernova features someone like Space Godzilla, it might not be the exact one from Toho. It could be a reimagined version, maybe even under a new name. Same goes for Destroyah or Monster X. We could see familiar ideas but remixed and reinvented. Godzilla 3, what to expect? The MonsterVerse roadmap is starting to take shape. Season 2 of Monarch, already filmed. May tease new titans, deeper layers of Hollow Earth, or even parallel dimensions. Godzilla x Kong. Supernova, a space-themed event with cosmic danger and possibly a cataclysmic energy surge. Godzilla 3, possibly title Destroy All Monsters, could dive deep into Godzilla's mythology, origin, and his role as a godlike guardian. That's where the franchise might finally explore ancient civilizations, the Titan War, and the sacred role of Godzilla, not just as a monster, but as a force awakened only in times of true planetary crisis. Destroyah, the ultimate final villain. All signs point toward Destroyah as the endgame villain after Supernova. Created from the same oxygen destroyer that killed the original Godzilla in 1954, he's not just powerful, he's the embodiment of destruction. A demonic, crustacean kaiju capable of evolving, splitting into swarms, and combining into a towering behemoth. He would be the kind of threat that unites all titans. A mutation born from humanity's hubris or cosmic interference. Biollante debut? Another game-changer, Biollante. A mutant plant kaiju born from Godzilla's DNA, a rose, and a woman's soul. She's not just a monster. She represents the dark side of human ambition. If Legendary tweaks her origin, she could become the first man-made titan. That opens the door to deeper, more emotionally charged themes about creation, nature, and consequence. Final thoughts. Imagine Godzilla 3 opens with new threats, rising tensions, and humanity stuck between gods and their own science. Godzilla, once again, becomes the planet's last line of defense. Throw in new titans, old allies like Mothra, and you've got the kind of high-stakes, mythic storytelling that the MonsterVerse is ready to embrace. With over $2 billion earned globally, the MonsterVerse isn't slowing down. It's just getting started.